Yet again, we enter lockdown. Welcome back to Art in Isolation. I'm afraid even the vegetables are looking rather cold and dejected. Some of you who watched the first series of Art in Isolation may remember I talked about a flower piece by Cedric Morris that I absolutely adored. Well, unfortunately, I've had to sell it. Needs must. I'm an art dealer. But I'm delighted to say that I've been able to replace it with a painting by Cedric Morris of flowers that I love just as much. So this gloriously colourful flower piece predominantly, not exclusively, predominantly represents poppies. And they all radiate from this rather characterful looking ceramic pot that Cedric may well have picked up on his travels. The date of this painting, I reckon, is about 1940, possibly a little bit later. And it's worth just reminding you a little bit about my favourite painter and how he came about. He was born in the 1880s in Wales. He went to France in around about 1920 and became soused in all of the exciting trends of modernism. He then came to London, where he was greatly celebrated as an artist, but couldn't bear the noise apart from anything else, and took off and settled in East Anglia. And there he did the thing that he loved just as much as painting. He bred plants and flowers, irises and poppies, and had the most exquisite garden. He also had an art school, an art college, and there he had, amongst others, Lucian Freud as a student. Many people went through his doors. Poppies have a rather wonderful characteristic that Cedric Morris seized upon, as he did with his irises as well, and that is, with selection and crossbreeding, you can produce all sorts of different hues and colours. And this is really what I think this painting is about. He's showing you what can be achieved by taking one particular plant or petals of a plant and then melding them with another. Just look at the colours that are radiating like stars around the pot. And you've got that raspberry fool one in the bottom right-hand corner. Fresh tangerine up here. Pearl white. And then you've got that colour which I think could be described as pigeon breast, just very slightly blue. And there's also something about the tissuey petals of the poppies themselves that Cedric rejoiced in. You can see with these lovely thick impasto strokes how he has captured their tissuiness in the same way that he did with irises. So, are we looking here at the work of an artist or a plantsman? And the answer is, gloriously, we're looking at both. In the same way that he's mixed the paint on his palette, he has combined the genetics of these flowers to produce similarly beautiful things that grow. As with every picture I talk about at home, it's how they work. And I have to say, I love the way it sits against this green wall, a green, incidentally, which I chose recently. I can't remember its name, but it seems to work with horticultural things. But if you stand back, you can see how it rather fills the room. From a distance, they look like deflated balloons at the end of a children's party, those coloured balloons. And there's another element that I think is rather arresting and touching about this picture, and that is, if you've ever tried to pick a poppy, it's murderous. The petals just fall off after a time. And I think there is something rather fragile about the way they're placed. The transience of beauty, the way nature moves on, is also an implicit part of this picture. For all of you in lockdown, take care and grimly just get through it. It feels particularly hard this time, and I do hope that the art that I live with has given you a little bit of solace. We are coming again soon with another programme about a painting upstairs, a love story, in fact. So we'll keep coming. Wherever you are, take care.